What's up, y'all? What's up? Happy Thursday. Glad to have y'all. Going to be a dope interview tonight. For those who don't know, Anthony Lee, A. Lee Real Estate. We're going to be doing an interview with Dwayne. What's up, Mar? We're going to be doing an interview tonight with Dwayne Johnson, one of the kings of the BRRRR method, buy and hold investments, multifamily, large apartment buildings. So we'll give Dwayne a minute or two to get on here to tap in so he can share his knowledge and information. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Feel free while we're waiting, if you want to drop a couple questions in the comments, feel free to ask. This is the time to ask. But yes, interest rates are up. The market is shifting. It's going to be a fun time. I was in this business around 2014, 15 when rates were around this time. So like, I'm not necessarily worried. I'm not necessarily scared. Just people's going to tighten up and adjust. And for a lot of people that's been eating and getting by with just doing the little things because rates were so low, now you're going to have to really put the work in. It's important, especially on the investment side, to buy right. I mean, whether the rate is 6%, 3%, the process is all the same. You got to make sure if you buy it at the right price, you're still going to have a strategy that you can exit, whether it's a fix or a flip. So just keep that in mind. But it definitely, banks will. That's what's up, Mar. That's what's up. Definitely check in with me. What's going on, big money Bruce? How you? Boss, I see you. But definitely, again, in the real estate game, you make the money when you buy. So it's like, again, the interest rate is going to affect your cash flow. But if you truly bought it at the right number, you're still going to win. You might not cash flow, as much as you were going to, but you'll still make your money. And then in most cases, give yourself a 2 to 3 year window. You pay down some of the mortgage principal, and the equity will go up, the rates will go down. You'll be able to refi and be able to open up your cash flow a little more. So sometimes it's just delayed gratification, honestly.
What up? What up? What up?
There you go.
I'm chilling, man.
Chilling, man. How you?
Good, man. I was getting a little concerned. I ain't hear from y'all. Like, it'd be shutting down because the game is coming on tonight.
Oh no, them dudes getting their check already, man. We gotta make sure, we still get the people what they want,
All right, hold on. Let's see if this internet gonna trip out.
Can you hear me, Dwayne?
You froze up on me. I can hear you, but you froze. All right, you good now?
Okay, but look, they said no. You was trying to hope that we shut it down because you was trying to watch the game. We got to hit them 5G towers so we can get Dwayne locked in. He keep buffering on us. No, he don't got that Teddy Riley internet. He about to get it situated. Pop out, Dwayne. There you go. He got out, but he gonna jump back in. But no, what we were saying is, with the interest rates where they're at, like, you still can make plays, but again, you got to be mindful that your cash flow might be tight. So again, that's why it's important to buy right, and definitely, I'll take a page out of Dwayne's book. You may not need to do a crazy rehab and spend that much money if it's going to mess up the cash flow.
All right, we'll try it
There
again.
You go.
See how this go. How we looking? Okay.
Nah, we good, man. We good. So, but I appreciate you joining in. So we were talking about, we know you are one of the gurus when it comes to the BRRRR method. So we wanted to get your take on the current market and, what is looking like with the rates.
I am no guru, right? Nothing against nobody that calls himself a guru, mentor, coach, but I wouldn't consider myself a guru. Just somebody with a little experience.
A little, yeah, okay, somebody
We'll
else's
call you
experience, a little
experience.
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 I'm still learning every day. I'm learning new stuff and new approaches. So I don't know at what status, at what point you become a guru, but I still got a ways to go. But yeah, man.
Well, we think you definitely close enough to be a guru. So we'll let you make the announcement.
All
We'll
right.
just say experience. But so like rates are high right now though. So it's like for some of the people that are like, I know me, I'm in the middle of 3 refis right now. Rates just kicked my ass in the last 30 days. I wish I was
Man,
done 2 months
I'm mad
ago.
at myself because I got 3 projects that are done. They sitting on hard money loans and but they cash on even with the hard money loans in place, they cash on. So I get complacent sometimes when I got cash flow coming in. And now here we are, the rate going up by the day, and I should have refied out months ago, right? But to touch on that point, the big thing is I bought them right, right? So even I got a lot of room. I'm really conservative in my purchases. I got a lot of room left in there so I can make these adjustments. But the key going forward, especially with the rates going up, you know, you gotta make sure you're buying right. Now you gotta do those numbers a little, do them 2 or 3 times. If you're usually doing 3 times, do them 4 times, right? The numbers gotta make sense. You want to be conservative because now everybody's been waiting for this moment. Everybody's been thinking like, hey, all right, the rates are gonna go up. People are gonna stop buying. I'm gonna get discounted stuff. But guess what? Capital is gonna slow down, right? It's gonna be tougher to get capital. You're not gonna get access to the same capital, right? And then there's gonna be looking at things a little bit tighter because they don't know what's coming down the line. So to that end, make sure your numbers is tight and don't let FOMO and all the people out here making all this noise about these deals and all these great ideas and grand ideas. Make sure you're sticking and doing your due diligence and being conservative with your numbers.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, if I focus on the buy, right? Like you said, and I give myself room, because like you said, you're doing deals now, the cash flow is still there, but the difference I'm saying with the rates, I might go from I was going to get $1,000 a month, now I'm only getting $750, $600. Dag, did we lose him again? KR, you right, man. They definitely hating on us because they know we're gonna give out some good information to help some people pivot. Bruce, that's a good point. So like definitely again, do your due diligence. Don't get caught up in what everybody else is saying. Do what works for you, because at the end of the day, regardless of the climate, regardless of what works for me, works for Dwayne, works for Bruce, works for KR, or anybody else, what works for you and your family is what matters. So again, don't just go out there and be reckless. But again, we're saying it's still going to be opportunity to buy. It's still going to be deals to be had, especially if people are sitting on the sideline. But again, you got to crunch the numbers 4 to 6 times. Don't just jump in. And I ain't gonna lie, I got super comfortable because banks was giving out money, credit unions is giving out money, banks is giving out money, the hard money lenders can't wait to lend you money, and because they turn in a profit like crazy. But at the same token, you don't want to get caught with a situation where the rate jump up 6%, 8%, or wherever it jumps, and now if you only started with a $300 cash flow, now you're not cash flowing anything. You don't have any room for error. So, again, if you can buy at the right price that works and give yourself some wiggle room, you definitely, can still win and get some opportunity. I know myself personally, I'm trying to focus on more multifamily, 3 units and up, because I don't want to get caught with the limited cash flow in the single family properties.
So I
We
turned the
got you
Wi-Fi
back.
off.
So
I was on
I was
Wi-Fi, but it's strong signal. I don't know what's up with it. So I'm gonna go off the actual cellular and see what we get. All right. But
right.
yeah, I don't know where you jumped off at, but my main thing was, be conservative with your numbers, make sure that those are right, and the cash flow got to be there, because now more than ever, you got to be able to service any debt that you incur.
Right. No, so basically I was expanding on what you were saying in regards to, if you buy it right, like I'm just saying a single family property, my cash flow might only be 500, but now, or I'm gonna just say 300. But now if I end up in a situation where the rate keeps going up and now my 300 or my 500 keeps dwindling, I don't have a lot of room, which is why I'm trying to focus on multifamily, because I know if my spread is at least $1,000 and it goes down to 600, I still got room for error if something goes wrong. But in addition to that, you know, like you said earlier, if I lock my numbers in and I buy the proper way in the beginning, like I focus on getting that number on the purchase price and maybe cut back on my rehab a little bit, again, I got a lot of wiggle room. And somebody just mentioned, like, yo, people was trying to refi 75%. Nah, that 65%, even 60% might be the move now, just to give yourself room. So in 3 years from now, when rates drop, you could refinance again.
Well, so I'll give
flow.
you a different opinion on that, right? So there's a couple of things. So let's factor in, we already talked about the interest rates going up. Let's talk about what's happening here in Philly, and probably a lot of places. Taxes is what's going to kill people. Taxes is going crazy, right? So again, this is why it's so important to make sure that your cash flow is tight, so that when you have these fluctuations, and also making sure you're staying on top of your business, raising rents when you're supposed to, collecting rents, you know what I mean, making that a priority, because that's where a lot of people lose their shirt in the business. They get comfortable and they lose track of what's going on in the business, right? But when it comes to just about how much debt you take out, I'm still going to take out whatever, you know, equity I can, because I'm disciplined with mine, right? And I'm always going to do disciplined stuff with the money. But what good is that money doing you inside the property, right? The rate go up, that money sitting in the property ain't helping you pay it none. It's just, you just got a lower rate. Now, if I take that money and I use that money to build a bank, right? That's what I do when I take these large cash out refis. I'm not taking that money and going and buying my car. I'm not taking that money and rolling it into the next purchase, like personal stuff, because that's where people get jammed up. That's where you build up your war chest. So now I'm positioned to weather the storm, right? And then also capitalize on the storm, making sure that I have money in the tuck. So now I'm positioned properly to take advantage of any deals that come this way. So I'll be able to sit here and wait for the next deal instead of going out and chasing deals.
Right. So when you say be disciplined with the money, though, can you expand on that in regards to, I'm just saying, you know, a lot of people out here, first generation. So when they see these checks, they can be enticing. So when you say discipline, do I get to play with any of the money, or do it all stay in the house?
In the beginning, I definitely say you should be, you know, rolling tight, right? Everybody knows the thing where people make more money. It doesn't matter how much money they make, they find a way to spend that money, right? And what I've done successfully is I've learned to live very much under my means. And I think that if there's any skill set, you know, real estate, you can take all these strategies, right? All the burr in the world, all the different, you know, capital raises that you can possibly do. None of that's going to matter if you don't have the proper mindset. And the mindset is going to control whatever business you're in. It doesn't matter if it's real estate, doesn't matter if you're a chef, doesn't matter if you're any kind of entrepreneur. You got to have the proper mindset for business, right? So minding your business and minding your money is going to be the central point of being successful, period. That doesn't matter, right? So now you learn to live beneath your means. You learn to take that money, these large windfalls of money that can come your way, and reinvest those things into cash flow and assets, and continue to do that and do that again, right? And at some point you'll realize, all right, cool, I've positioned myself. So like I've reached that point now where I'm like, all right, I can service all my debts, I can pay my bills. I'm able to do all the things that are requirements in my life. Now I know what's over here that I can go play with, right? You know what I mean? So I can finally get to that point where I can go get me a nice car. If I want to buy some sneaks, like, you know, I've been talking about over the years, I've bought more houses than sneaks, right? I've bought literally more houses than sneaks. I was rocking out. Now the past year, I went on a little splurge and I ordered me a bunch of sneaks, but I earned that, right? I earned that point. So that's the part. People want to skip steps because we live in a world where you see all the highlights. You see Instagram, you see the gurus, you see the influencers, and all these different people that are constantly every day, they just having a ball. And it can be a very much, you know, in a world of FOMO, it could put a lot of pressure on you. You don't even know pressure is being applied to you. And you're constantly trying to keep up with Joneses, and you'd be surprised to find out the Joneses ain't living how the Joneses give. You know what I mean? It ain't giving what it gave all the time. So you got to be cognizant of that.
Right. They really
are with
somebody's back room.
It's tight over there. And if you kind of just watch the machinations of the space is crazy right now for real estate and business in general, because people are always in a search for the get rich overnight. Bruce said instant gratification. That's exactly where I was going, right? All this stuff looks like overnight success. I've been in business for 20 years. I've owned businesses for 20 years. I'm 40 years old. I've had business for 20 years. And just now in year 40, I'm like, I think I can treat myself. You know what I mean? And it's just about being really disciplined and sticking to sticking to what you know is in the best interest of your long term.
Okay. So with the tenants, now that we're moving in this dangerous space of recession, interest rates, all these variables that we can't control, what do we do about tenants and not paying rent? Are we going Section 8? We finding other programs? How are we able to like kind of balance the tide of making sure we can pay those mortgages?
That's the tough part, especially when you start scaling the business, right? Everything is cool when you got your first 5 or 6 units. It's really easy to stay on top of it. But once you get to 100 or 50 or 40, whatever it is, whatever that number, you can get to 200. It doesn't matter. At some point, you start making enough money where you can start losing track of money, right? So I recently, I started doing a little bit of mentorship, nothing too crazy. A handful of people I started mentoring. I shared in our group, one of our sessions, I shared that, come to find out, my property management company that I had at my unit doing, it cost me $20,000 in the last year, at least $20,000 that I could find. And it took me a while to realize it because I'm over here, I'm buying these properties, I'm buying that property, and I'm constantly chasing that next property. But while I'm chasing those things, I'm not cognizant of what's going on in my business. I'm losing money back here, right? So it's very easy to lose focus. So I've actually slowed down on my acquisition, even though there's a lot of money in acquiring properties and adding these rental units. If I'm not handling the other 80, 90 units, and I got 20 units worth of vacancy, and I got a property manager that's stealing money, losing money, not collecting money, that's where people lose their shirt. And next thing you know, you hit now, right? Everybody feels that great bump from the refi cash out, but now the cash out starts slowing down. Now the prices are going up in Philly, so you're not getting these amazing buys, so the cash outs are smaller than they were, right? It was very easy to make money in 2016 and be successful. 2017, easy. The money was just falling out the sky. But COVID hit, and now we got inflation hitting, and those margins are getting much tighter. So it takes a lot of focus and discipline to go back and say, hold on, let me slow down, let me get my house in order. So to that end, I had to go through, I ended up having to pay some tenants. I paid tenants. I wasn't even wasting time going to court and eviction. I paid some tenants just to go away. And big picture, it just made sense, right? And now I've also I'm treating it just like, I treat the tenants like employees, slow to hire, quick to fire. So I got all these vacancies right now.
Right.
And it used to be, the mistake I made in the past was I'm letting all these programs come in. Like today, 10 different programs called me because they heard that I had vacancies. And I said, here's a link, y'all go apply. And I'm treating everybody the same way. They all getting vetted the same way. I don't care if they're Section 8. I don't care if they're a private tenant. You vet them all the same way. And you're just going to have to slow down because vacancy probably going to be one of your highest expenses. And it's one of those sneaky expenses that you don't notice until you start realizing, oh, man, I got like 20 grand in outstanding rents, and 5 of it's from one person. So that part of the business is where, and it sounds like a lot of money, right? But once you start scaling up, you're going to be making a lot of money. And that's why it hurts more when you make these mistakes. If you miss 1 month in a 5-unit portfolio, it hurts. But if you miss 10 people amongst the 100, that's a big hit to your cushion.
Right. So when you say vet the programs, vet the tenants, can you share maybe like what are some of the things you're looking for with tenants, especially now with COVID and we can't just kick these people out, but we see you have another strategy, like you're basically doing cash for keys. But before we get to that part, like the tenants in the screening process, like, can you just give us some insight on how to be diligent?
I mean, I probably, I think I did a video. I probably had to post it on Instagram, like some of the immediate red flags, right? There's like 3 or 4 red flags out the gate that are like key for me, right? Number one, most of my calls go to a voicemail. And if the voicemail sound crazy and you already burning me out and you call me 92 times, I had a lady yesterday, she called me 92 times, back to back to back. You already burning me out. You ain't even my tenant. Rejected, right? So little stuff like that. Oh, I don't need to see the apartment. I just want it. Rejected. When can you move? I'll be in there today. Rejected. Like stuff that don't sound right, it ain't right. So those are the easy things. Those are the easy screening things, right? But then I also take into account, I start treating my properties now that I've kind of started going into the larger multifamily. Now I got more people in buildings. I got to start treating it like a community, right? So now I'm trying to foster a situation where I understand the community that I've created and make sure that the people going into it are a good fit, right? So you're familiar with that property I have in Overbrook, the 13, 14 units, whatever it is. Everybody in there is, that's where
You said that I literally you taking old head's formula, like he handpicking, and you got to match the energy of everybody else.
And I learned a lot just by seeing those people. Like you can tell who's going to be a solid tenant, right? Like I'm going to fix your problems, but you also got to give me a minute. Like you can't be like, oh, I need you here yesterday. That's just not how it works. And when you get really needy people, they can really be a strain on your systems and your resources.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you got like-minded people going in. Like if I got a community full of 60-year-olds, it don't make sense to send a 22-year-old in her first apartment to go live above them, right? It's going to get reckless. So I kind of say, hey, all right, cool. Like the program that called me today, they come from they're the veterans, right? I keep the vets together. Nothing against the vets, appreciate their service, but they tend to have some stuff with them, right? Especially the male vets. The older male vets,
the older males,
the women gonna be the death of them. The women,
whether
the women gonna be the
girls
death.
or a bottle of or little old Budweiser, little liquor.
Right. So I know the vets, and I know where they will fit in well. I know the good thing about the vets, right? So I tend to go be a little hard on the vets because they've given me the most trouble. They tend to bring the unauthorized occupants. They tend to have the most activity in and out of the property, but they also tend to be the lowest maintenance, right? Whether that's good or bad can be is to be determined. But a lot of times they're the most patient people, right? So they actually end up being good tenants if you vet them the same way that you vet everybody else, right? You can find out a lot just from talking to people. So I'm like right now I'm in the point like you try to outsource a lot of your business, but some stuff I'm still handpicking tenants. I'm still getting to know them because I want to know who I'm dealing with for the next 5-6 years because they're not leaving.
Right. So I'm in that struggle where, like you said, I want to handpick the tenants because if you don't pay in your issue, it's my fault. It's easier for it to be my fault.
And just doing it. You're doing it like it's hard to teach certain things, right? Like so as a business owner, you want to outsource as much as possible, but you can't outsource your instincts and you can't outsource your hunches. So by me dealing with all these people over the years, not just in real estate, but in business, in the community and all that kind of stuff, I've gotten better with discerning who is who and their personality, right? So it's hard to transition that kind of knowledge in a short amount of time. It can happen, it will happen, it just takes a little bit of time. But right now, I'm trying to restabilize a lot of my portfolio and really strengthen going into this next year. I'm just really focusing on making that part of the business more efficient. Right now I'm doing pretty much 99% PHA just because that certainty of getting paid, at least a bulk of the money, is going to be very helpful in the near future, right? I took a chance right around when COVID started and I started letting people that were not PHA tenants, and every single one of them had trouble paying rent going forward. They all had it in the beginning when pool was flying around, but now they fell on hard times. So just trying to make sure that the bulk of it is PHA and automated payments.
I got you. So in regards to now moving into the recession and this time, like, how are you able to, do you feel like you can still be flexible, and how do you become bankable? How are you move with the banks?
Here's the key with the banks, right? I'm in the middle of the leverage everything and don't use no leverage, right? I have a proper amount of respect for leverage. Now, I'm not scared to use all the leverage available to me, but I'm going to do certain things to position myself to win. Nothing's guaranteed, right? So what I do a lot of times is when I get these large cash out refis, the first thing I do is I put it in the bank that I'm using. Just put it in there, put a drop in there. So I'll be specific with it. I bank with Wells Fargo. I know everybody hates Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo treats me great. So I gotta play the hand I'm dealt. But I got a large sum after a refi last year. I dumped it all in Wells Fargo. I let it sit there for like a week. My phone started ringing. Hey, Mr. Johnson, what's going on? Just checking in, making sure everything's okay. And it's not by accident, right? So I know that. And what I've learned over the years, and anybody will tell you, banks love you when you don't need money. So the best time to ask for money is when you don't need it. If they see you have money, they want to give you more money. You know what I mean? So I put a bunch of money in there. And what I did was I dumped some into the stock market, and then I leveraged the stock. I created a brokerage account, but I'm able to leverage that account at a very low interest rate when I need it. So it's like creating my own personal line of credit. So that was number one. So I have that at my disposal right now. I also started doing a whole life insurance policy where I set it up to where I can drive all, a large chunk of money in there, get a solid interest rate of like 4 or 5%, whatever it is. And then whenever I need that, I can tap into that. So I've created all these little pockets of cash reserves that are available to me, but while I'm not using it, they're getting interest, whether it be in the form of stock market asset purchases that I'm making or the guaranteed interest that I'm getting from the whole life policy. What I didn't do was go spend it, right? Because I'm very conservative about that. Okay. So I like to spend the cash flow. The cash flow that comes in from the money that I've earned that, I'll spend that. The capital that I raise from equity plays and the forced appreciation of properties, I'll take that and I'll use that to continue my investments, whether it be more real estate or other assets that I purchase.
Got you. Okay. So do you have any suggestions for the new people who may not have the large lump sum of cash just yet? Like, how can they maneuver during this time? Like, I got a couple dollars, but like, all right, banks or LLCs, like, how can we get in position? Because there will be some people that win during this time.
But the people that tend to win all the time are people that understand money, right? Whether the economy is good or bad, people that understand money and business are always going to find a way to win. So one of the things that frustrates me when I see it online all the time is you see all the gurus and the experts that are constantly saying the crash is coming, the crash is coming, the crash is coming. They've been saying the crash is coming for a decade now, right? And it's like going outside and saying it's going to rain every day. And then when it finally rains, like, see, I told you it was going to rain. Like, you told me it's going to rain for 364 straight days. Like, you're not, you know what I mean? You're not telling me nothing here, right? So, but what's even more, and Malik Carter put up a post in the Resonate, it's like, yo, why do people think that if you can't make money when money is falling from the sky and the economy is good and everybody's rolling, if you can't get in and make money now, what makes you think that you could just jump in and start making money when there's blood in the streets, right? The people that are positioned to take advantage of these times are the people who've been active all the way along. Now, all that said, I'm not saying that you can't get busy now. I'm just saying it's not going to be easy and you're going to have to be creative. Like I saw somebody talk about partnerships. Yes, you can definitely partner with somebody. If you have capital or if you have credit and you got somebody that has a little experience, you can put those kind of things together and do some partnerships where now you're minimizing your exposure and also taking full advantage of the resources that you have, right? And then again, the other thing is everybody wants to buy the 8 unit, right? Everybody wants to buy an 8 unit. Not everybody can buy an 8 unit. Go buy a single family. Go buy a duplex. I know that's not sexy. Nobody's impressed when you say I own a duplex or a single family. Guess what? I'll buy a single family in a heartbeat if it makes sense, right? And especially if there's built-in equity or a ton of room for me to go on and force appreciation, because I use those single family homes a lot of times just to generate equity and capital that I'll roll into the big property that comes in up down the line. But if you're just sitting around waiting for that 8 unit, that makes sense. Because not only that, it has to be an 8 unit or a 12 unit, whatever it is, but also the numbers got to be right. You're going to be sitting around waiting for a long time because, first of all, you got to be in position to make that play. People aren't even going to take your offer if you don't own any property. What makes you think you can close this out?
Right. Tracy just made a good point. She said if you can't learn how to manage and deal with a single family, you're going to damn near drown messing with a 6.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. People be sitting around like, yeah, I really want to, like, they come to me, especially like I mentioned, I do the mentorship, right? And I do it on a very small scale, and I do it with a very select amount of people because for a couple of reasons, right? Like, my goal is always to make sure that the people that I deal with, I want to be able to say that I know I can help you, right? I know that you can be successful. I got some way that I can help you. You're not going to find anybody looking for me in the street looking for their money. You know what I mean? I live in Philadelphia. I don't want no problem with nobody money, right? So I screen my mentees the same way I screen my tenants. If they don't make sense and you're not ready, then we need to talk later. So I'm very aware of that. But they come to me and say, "Hey, Dwayne, I want to buy the same thing you just bought." What makes you think you can do that? I couldn't do that when I first got started. I had to go through all these different learning processes. And not only that, everybody's journey is going to be different. I had things at my disposal that were a cheat code. You know what I mean? You're not going to, if you don't have that,
Right.
that was just happenstance. But on top of that, even before I got into real estate, I was a business person because like anybody that knows me, I don't love real estate. I can give a damn what the tiles look like. You know what I mean? I don't care about countertops. I don't know none of that shit. But what I do know is numbers, and I know
Right.
business. If you told me I could make the same amount of money with the same amount of effort selling popsicles, I would fucking sell popsicles. Don't care. So, so I think that's kind of what gives me a little bit of an advantage in this business because I'm not emotional about it. I'm very much driven by analytics and business and systems and processes. Yeah.
And numbers. I got you. So I'm saying, well, I'll ask this. If I'm a person looking on the outside, right, and we're trying to figure, should I still be looking forward to real estate, like right now, like, or should you, like you said, like I know you want me to be cautious, but should I like just chill, give it 2 years, or should I still try to get in the mix?
Right, like be active, just be disciplined, right? Because again, who knows when things are going to turn around? Who knows when interest rates are going to come back down? Nobody knows. And again, there are going to be people with that posture to know and say, oh, wait till this, that, third. Meanwhile, they active, right? I love how people that, it's very easy to give people advice and say, be patient and wait for this. When you've already done it, you eating, right? I'm eating already. Nah, man, chill out, relax. Your time will come. Fuck you mean? You know what I mean? Nah. So what you need to be doing right now is educating yourself, for one. If your credit's not right, and that's something people say, oh, you don't need, like all them people that want to sell you, you don't need money to do real estate. That's a goddamn lie. There's no free houses. There's no free real estate. You know what I mean? So at some point, you're either going to have one of a few things. You're going to have to either have cash, you're going to have good credit so that you can, generate capital, right? Especially now with everything that's going on. Or you might need to have skills that you can offer to somebody else who does have cash, right? But you got to bring something to the table. You can't say, oh, your credit shot, you broke, and you're having tough times, but come do real estate. That's a formula for disaster, right? So that's what I was like. Like, there's no reason to sit there and be stagnant, but you should be doing things that are going to be proactive and make sense. Go get you a single family. You know what I mean? The prices on those will probably start coming down now because where I see the most immediate impact with the interest stuff is going to be on the people buying personal homes, right? So for the last few years, investors have been competing with each other, but you're also competing with potentially, people that are flipping and people that are buying personal homes. So it's just driving the cost of everything up. So now there might be a few less players in there. Some of the prices on those single families, I've seen like stuff that was $90,000 the past year that 4 years ago would have been $40,000, right? So maybe some of that stuff starts trending down and you can get you a single family or a duplex.
Got you. It slipped. I was trying to hold on to my question, Dwayne. The new people. Oh, deals. So to your point of homeowners and finding deals and opportunity, a lot of people, COVID, they couldn't get evicted. COVID, they couldn't get foreclosed on. Now, like you said, things are opening up. People want their money that you thought you didn't have to pay. So would you suggest going to the sheriff's cell? Would you suggest, getting lists for stuff off market? Like, where do you see possibly, or I mean, you've been in the game a while, like where did you really make damage or get your momentum in this kind of market?
All right, that's a great question, right? So what you need to do is become self-aware about what your strengths are, right? So what my strength was, I always had great credit, right? I always had great credit. And once I learned how to leverage the credit, it was over from there. I've been building my credit I have a credit card that's 20 years old. I got it in high school. High school. And then I got another one in college. So it's been like 20 years on that one too. And the interest rate on that one is 27%. I never used this card, right? And every year or 2 years, they try to, we're going to close you out because you ain't active. I go buy a Mountain Dew or something with it, and I pay it right off to keep it active. Because, again, I've been maintaining this credit situation for so long, and that's been the source of my success. But let's just say that you don't got credit, but you got a good job, right? And you got a couple of dollars. What you might need to do is source your own deals and apply some sweat to the situation, right? And source your own deals, because if you take the time to source your own deals, that's where you can get some discounted stuff, right? And especially if you do the sourcing your own deals and you do it with integrity, right? Because everybody wants to take and buy somebody's grandma's house for $10,000, which ain't cool. But if you go out here and do good business and source deals and make everything a win-win, then you'll find a way to, like, all right, I can not only you can make your capital that way, but then once you sell off a few of those, now you can say, all right, cool, I'll use the money that I made to buy my first property, right? So that kind of thing is it. You got to find something that gives you an edge that will allow you to take advantage of the situation. You can't afford to go buy stuff at market value. You probably can't. You know what I mean? I got all my deals. I've never sourced a deal on my own that I can recall. A lot of times deals, like, for one, once you start getting active, deals are going to come to you, right? So that's the other thing about being active, right? You've bought me numerous deals, you know what I mean? And you bought them me because, you know, one thing is about me is I'm going to close. I'm always going to close. My name is my name. I got to keep my reputation. Is super important to me. So I've always found the way to close no matter what, right? So when you close, people are going to keep bringing you deals. And that's part of it. So just getting in there, getting active, the deals will come your way.
Okay. So more so like definitely putting your name out there, networking, you know, but also being outside, but doing that research so that, again, you kind of put yourself in the room for the opportunity to come, but it's not necessarily just one specific place.
Yeah, man. And like, come to the Blueprint events, right?
Okay.
You know, in Lorenzo, they got, like, y'all already here. Y'all got the right people. You know what they do. And come. You should be at, anybody that's on this live should be at all the Blueprint events, just cause, right? But not just that, but there's plenty of groups and activities going on in the city. Like, yo, you need to be out there meeting somebody, because that person that you meet and they give you a business card and you throw it on the counter, and next thing you know, that person hits you up and they got an opportunity for you, right? But you're never going to get those opportunities if you're just in the house Googling stuff. You know what I mean? And watching videos and paying all the and paying all these gurus all your money and don't have nothing to show for it.
Right. No, that's definitely a good point. I mean, Lorenzo, I think, is doing an event on the 25th where he's going to be presenting on how to find tenants and how to properly property manage so that, again, you don't have to go to landlord tenant court. So you don't have to be, you know, gang warring to get your rent. You know, and in addition to that, I just dropped how to analyze deals. You guys can hit the link in my bio, and how to basically run numbers on these deals so you can figure out if it's profit enough to flip or if it's profit enough to cash flow. Because like you just said, the focal point all night has been know your numbers, run your systems and process. So again, if you cross all your T's and dot all your I's, you have room for error, because one thing for sure, we all know in real estate, things can change literally at any given moment. And even just on the rehab side, I can tell myself the budget is 20. The budget never stays 20. It turns into 30, 40, whatever it is. But again, if you got room and you buy right, you know, everything will kind of work itself out. You just might not be the perfect situation, but you'll still be in a winning situation.
I used to yell at you about this, and it's one of the things I yell at the people the most. Y'all on these fucking over rehabbing properties, right? Y'all be in here acting like y'all about to move into these apartments. Y'all got to stop that shit, right? So the goal, if you're doing it, in my opinion, my approach is to provide affordable housing, right? So you got to look at the people that you're servicing, right? So if you go in here and you spend all this money putting marble countertops in and crazy chandeliers and all that kind of stuff, and at the end of the day, you still won't get $850. What are you doing, right? And it's not about shortchanging people. You know what I mean? It's not about it's about creating, like, and I guarantee you, it is the housing situation in Philadelphia is so bad, right? There's enough bad landlords out here providing terrible quality products that when they come see your just reasonably renovated stuff, they're gonna love it. You know me, I'm cheap as hell, and I'll be painting cabinets and.
No, somebody just said Dwayne. They just said. Davon just said, "Yo, Dwayne, see a hole painted. It's all right. Just paint it."
No, that's not true. Nah, hang a picture for sure, Bruce. Hang a picture on the hole. Nah, like, you can go out there and put together a nice product without having to make everything. You know, Lorenzo. I look at Lorenzo's Blue Magic. You know what I mean? It ain't all gotta be Blue Magic all the time. It ain't always gotta be. It don't have to be a condo. and don't get started, with the superior products. And I ain't trying to hear none of that because I'm renting and getting the same rent y'all getting, and my tenants is just as happy because they got to go in a reasonably priced place. You know what I mean? I was at actually, I was visiting a property, Ken Weinstein. I went through Jumpstart Germantown had a program. It was 2.0 for commercial developers, people moving into the larger investment spaces and all that kind of stuff. And he took us to like a property that he just finished and was put on the market. And it's like 50 units. And he was like, my success this is going to be so easy to rent out because I'm not going to rent at the top of the market. I'm going to discount every apartment. And what's going to happen is people will come in there. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to get all these renters out quickly. And the people aren't going to go anywhere because they got a nice product at a nice price. And we can do that because our numbers are right. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of like, I took that, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm on the right path. I'll listen to Ken Weinstein. You know what I mean? I've seen what he's doing. So I'm looking at it like, yo, I promise you I'm not a slumlord. If you go look at my apartments, they cool. They nice. They not extravagant. All right? But they get the job done. People go in there and they're happy. And that's all that really matters. Stop over renovating. Stop over rehabbing because the only person that's going to get jammed up is you.
Right. I got you. So, we have I hear you and I take heed to it. So some projects, we got to give them the middle ground, and other projects is, we got to give them a little bit of the sexy because, and to your point, my one joint, it is in the hood, but I got, a different clientele coming to come rent it out because of how it looks. So, we'll see if they actually move in. That's another story, but they are coming to check it out.
But that's the thing, right? So that's the great thing about real estate. It's a very flexible business. It's a very forgiving business as long as you're creative and you're disciplined, right? My approach is not the only approach, just like your approach ain't the only approach. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. It also depends on what your goals are. Right. So my goal was to scale. So it's a lot easier to scale when you're doing a lot of cosmetic rehab, which is all I do. And at this point now, I don't even do rehabs at all. I'm strictly buying properties that are occupied and underperforming. That's my approach now because I'd rather go in and have to deal with people and deal with rent because I can give a damn about what the place looks like. I don't like aesthetics. Don't care. What I like about this business, I like negotiating, and I like that part of the business is fun to me. Even when it gets frustrating, the problem solving part of it is fun to me. I'd rather deal with a pain in the ass tenant than deal with a pain in the ass contractor. Just my preference.
Right. But that, and to your point now, that I always agree with you, that helps you scale because, I'm damn near 12 months in and I'm just getting done, my 10 units. So, breaking all of them down and trying to manage the money and all that, to your point, like, yo, what you just doing like the last 6 months? How many units?
I don't remember. In the last 6 months, it's probably been about 20 to 25.
25 units. Yeah. I was going to say around 22. I think I got the count.
But and that's the other thing, right? Again, the great thing about real estate is, what I tell you, it's either as simple or as complicated as you're going to make it. It's up to you. I ain't like y'all ever see what I do during the day?
We've seen the Instagram videos. I mean? We've seen it.
I did my time. I put in my sweat. I put in my work over the years, not just in real estate, all business. I could do a whole show on my other businesses and what I've done over the years and experience and all that kind of stuff. But right now, all I really care about is spending time with my kids. You know what I mean? So if you look at my stories, 9 times out of 10, I'm either here at the Fiddler Club. I just finished working out. I'm having a drink. During the day, I'm with the kids.
You worked out and then you got a drink?
Yeah, man, I earned the drink. I earned that drink, and I got a long night ahead of me.
Look,
to
the gym. That's all that matters.
Earlier in the day, I had the girls out with the trucks. They driving the trucks to the city. Boom. That was my day. I leased up while I was doing all that. I leased up an apartment. I was able to do that. So I've systemized it, and I've used my experience to kind of like put this thing on autopilot. But I work as hard as I want to. Whether some days I feel like I'm like, all right, I'm in it. And then some days I'm like, I ain't doing shit today. And that's my decision because of the type of investing I'm doing. I don't like a lot of stress. I could easily go out and buy 50 more units in the next 6 months, but I choose not to because it's not fun. You know what I mean? It's work. So That's the other thing. You got to run your own race. If you out there and you ready to go ham, I know a lot of dudes is ready to do that. Go for it. You should. You know what I mean? You should do that if that's what drives you. But right now, the freedom that real estate has provided me allows me to pick and choose the level of energy that I want to put out there.
I got you. All right. Well, so for people looking to level up, not even talking about the new people, the level up, can you give them either book, podcast, or resource to go from I was doing 2 houses a year to, you know, I wanna hit that growth.
Okay.
I wanna scale.
So for the level again, you're saying like entry level people just now getting started.
They got started, but they just staying on this,
Okay.
you know,
Okay. Man,
this
man, it's so
but they
many,
won't.
and I should have been prepared for this, but there's so many of them. Obviously, you got to do the rich dad poor dad. You know, you got to have that under your belt. Everybody should have read that. My favorite book of all time, or the book that I attribute with getting me to where I am the most, is The Richest Man in Babylon. And that was given to me when I was like 14 years old by my dad. My dad didn't know what he did at the time. He made a monster because all the stuff that is simple and quick to read as it is, it sets the foundation for everything that you do going forward. And if you could put some of those tenets into play, then it will set the tone for going forward. What's the other one? Oh man, I'll come back. Dale Carnegie. It's one of the Dale Carnegie good books. That's Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich got to be in there. Those are all
Yeah.
like, if you haven't read those, start there. And then it's like, and then I've always been a junkie for productivity and self-improvement. So 4-Hour Workweek shaped a lot of what I did, right? And you'll see the 4-Hour Workweek basically in what everybody is doing right now. All the successful people, they may not know it, but a lot of this stuff started with the 4-Hour Workweek. Virtual assistants. I've never seen so many people have virtual assistants and leverage virtual assistants the way they do. It's just a 4-Hour Workweek. And then I'll throw one more out there because I got books for days. But and that's the other thing. Like, yo, you got to be hungry, and you need to be learning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I play games and all that kind of stuff, and I watch movies. But prior to that, I did something. I read every day. But I like Deep Work. I don't know if you're familiar with Deep Work. I forget the author, but Deep Work talks about helping you get in the zone to actually do thoughtful and productive, like impactful work, right? You know, we all sit around and we have our laptop out while we're watching Netflix by the pool, and it looks cool,
Right.
but how much did you really get done? That book is really about getting into a zone and getting busy and getting active.
Right.
So those are about 5 books right there.
And what was that like?
Deep.
What was the last title?
Deep Work. Yep.
To Deep Work?
Yeah. That's 5.
Okay.
I got, you know, and actually on my IG, I have a highlight, like a highlight that I update periodically. It's called Books I Read, or Books I Read, Books I Read, whichever way you want to do it. But I post in there all the books that I'm reading as I go through. So it's kind of like my book list, you know, Oprah got her journal, you can go read my journal. So aside from the normal ratchet nonsense that I post, every now and then I sprinkle in something that's worthwhile.
I got you. We appreciate the humor as well as the professionalism. So if anybody that wants to get with you in regards to mentorship,
all right,
how
so
do they go about
thing,
that?
right? And man, I could do a whole other show where I just be like the old cranky old head boy on the step, right? Who's like, look at all this nonsense out in these streets, right? So I'll say that for one, the mentorship is not something that I'm like super promoting. You know that. Like, you guys remind me to mention it more than I do, right? Because I make my money off of real estate. A lot of people right now make their money off of selling the idea of doing real estate. You know what I mean? So take that for what it's worth. It's not, you know, and it's all over the place. It's not certain people. It's like, I've been saying this for a long time. So my thing is, I don't want to mass market the mentorship like I mentioned before, because the people that I want to help are the people that are in position to do it. And I've turned people away. Because again, I'll tell you, if you don't have money and your credit is shot, it ain't much I can do for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like without me having to go and do shit for you. So, and I ain't got time for that. So the best way to get me is just DM me and say, yo, I'm interested in learning, and I got time. You know what I mean? I'll chat with you and I'll see what you got going on. I'm not going to charge you, you know what I mean? If you say, hey, Dwayne, can I chat with you 15, 20 minutes? I'm not going to charge you $50 an hour. I don't have a meter. You know what I mean? Where I'm measuring how long I talk to you and send you an invoice. I ain't got that. And I can quickly tell you, like, yo, either you got it or you don't. Because I know the type of people that I can help. You know who I like to help? People that got jobs. You know, I know we judge people for having a job, but yo, your 9 to 5, and we talked about this a lot over the years, is an asset. You know what I mean? It's probably one of the biggest assets that allowed me to do what I was able to do so fast. If you got great credit, you got a job, hell, if you got 1 or 2 properties already and you're just interested in scaling up and figuring out how to leverage what you already have responsibly, those are the type of people I like to help. So if you fit any of those things, you say, hey, I think I know I'm ready, just DM me, hit me up, I'm around.
DM them the word mentorship and tell them Blueprint. He'll give you 10% off if you mention Blueprint.
I'm gonna honor that though. I'm gonna honor that for you. You know what? You my guy. We go back. And historically, you passed me the ball and allowed me to shoot with, you know, Steph-like indiscriminate behavior.
Well, now I know why other people weren't passing.
I'm not passing
you ain't
ball.
passing it
There's
back.
no reason
That's
for me to like. By the time if I pass it to you once and you pass it back, I'm shooting it. Because you could. What are we doing here?
There's no go with Dwayne. There's a give, but there's no go. There's no go. No, but we definitely appreciate you, man. Is there anything else you want to leave the people? I know everybody want to get to the game.
We need to do another one of these in the near future. I got time. We should do another one, and we can go into a little bit more topical stuff if you want.
No, we gonna pull up a panel. Me, you, Tracy, and Lorenzo. We're gonna do a panel, and we gotta find one more female as well. We definitely need another woman up there with us. So we'll find another female to get up there with us with Tracy, and do a panel. And I think I don't know. We'll see how we feel. See if we can put something together for the people.
Did I miss any? I was trying to keep up with it, but I don't know. Did we have questions from anybody that needed to get answered? Did we miss any?
No, it wasn't questions, more so comments. They're having a good time in the comments today. We appreciate y'all energy. Tracy, Bruce, a couple other people.
I seen the KR. I see y'all. Yeah.
Right.
But no, I mean, so you know, I think what I'm gonna do, I think I gotta be more productive with my IG at some point. And you know, for every 1,000 memes that I post, and ratchet, you know, maybe I'll have like a random, you know, Q&A, you know, something fun where I talk to people more often, because I do enjoy it. I don't make enough time to do it, but I do enjoy just kind of going back and forth with people and sharing ideas. So maybe I'll you know, tap on you and Lorenzo to help me with that, because you know, left up to my own devices, I'll be ghosts, and y'all won't see me unless we in traffic.
They did drop a question, Dwayne. They said, who gonna win one-on-one, me or you?
Barbecue chicken. You know what I mean? Barbecue chicken.
Dwayne got that bad knee now. Dwayne an old head now. He don't want that work no more. He don't want that.
Every day.
But then afterwards, you washing it down with a glass of whiskey.
Might smoke a cigar. You know what I mean? Fucking man.
No, drinking Budweiser in the locker room.
Bruce knows the cook. Man, if I posted what I really wanted to post, I would get canceled. I would get canceled. So I just be staying off. I just stop. But the close friends is about as close to what I'll put up there.
Well, definitely on that note, look, we're going to let you go watch the game, man. We appreciate you. But definitely salute to everything you've been doing and the information you've been sharing with the people. So I'm looking forward to it. Actually, Portia just jumped in here, so we might have to get Portia to jump up there with Tracy when we do the in person one. So, you know, we'll definitely be talking. So, but appreciate y'all for tuning in. Look forward to getting together with y'all. And Dwayne, continue keep doing what you're doing, good brother.
I'm trying to look at the audience. The close friends is for us. You know what I'm saying? Certain stuff got to stay inside the community. So all of us is in the close friends. I'll make sure that's the case.
And we'll make sure we'll have some tequila, some old fashioned. They just want to know if it's going to be some liquor there. So we'll definitely see if we can get some liquor there. We get the liquor, we probably got to charge now. That's my cost coming.
All right, man. We got to do it. We're going to do another event, man. We'll talk about that offline, man.
I got you. Appreciate it. Thanks again, Dwayne.
Y'all have a good night.